In the name of the risen Christ, amen. I want to share with you a story about two different women and their very different experiences of faith. So the first woman had a very easy, natural kind of faith. When she was quite young, she had a vision of Jesus, and she carried that vision, that compelling vision with her whole life. She just knew 100% without question that the things that we say that we believe are true. And it gave her confidence and love for God, unquestioned through her whole life. The second woman had a very different experience of faith. She struggled her whole life. She questioned. She wondered at times, where is God? And she wrote agonizing journal entries about that sense of questioning, that mystery of faith. Now the first woman is just an ordinary woman like any of us who are female, an ordinary person from a former parish of mine. Just that easy, natural, 100% faith. The second woman is Mother Teresa. Now the first woman, it's easy to see how she was a person of faith, because she didn't question and because she told others about the things that she had seen and the things that she believed. That's a really clear expression of faith. Mother Teresa, we might be tempted to say, we could say that she's a person of faith in spite of her doubts, because we can see how she lived. She was a person of astounding compassion and generosity who gave her whole life to caring for others. But I'm going to say that she was also a person of faith because of her doubts. That it wasn't just because she overcame those doubts and was able to still live her faith that made her a person of faith. It was also because of the questions and the wrestling that she engaged in through her whole life that also contributes something to the life of faith. When we get to the second Sunday of Easter, which is coming up in a few days, we always spend time with Thomas, because Thomas adds such an important dimension to our Easter faith, to our resurrection faith. Now you might, even if you didn't know anything at all about Thomas, you might suppose that he's a pretty important character in the Christian witness because of how many churches are named after him. There's one just down the street, St. Thomas's. He was one of the 12, so he has a pretty definitive position in the early church. And in fact, he was somebody who gave his life in courageous and generous ways to furthering the message of Jesus and sharing Jesus' message and ministry all across the world. He engaged in very dangerous and costly travel after Jesus' resurrection and ascension to take the Christian message as far as India. And he established churches and Christian communities in India. And you can still, I believe, you can still go to the place that he is supposedly buried in India. So all of that adds up to saying, yes, Thomas was clearly a person of faith. But Thomas gets saddled with a nickname because of this story. Who knows the nickname that Thomas has?
Doubting Thomas.
Doubting Thomas, yeah. And, there was a time where people would call others a doubting Thomas as a criticism. Oh, you're such a doubting Thomas. We use that nickname as if it's something bad. And yet I'm going to say that nickname, Doubting Thomas, is one that he could wear with pride. And if somebody calls you a Doubting Thomas, then you should wear that nickname with pride as well. Because what happens in this moment is profoundly important for the life and witness of the Christian community. Thomas isn't with the other friends when they first see Jesus on that first Sunday night of Jesus' resurrection. He's not there. And when they tell all of these wild, preposterous stories about how Jesus is risen, he's not really dead, he just, maybe he thinks that they're putting him on, or he has some kind of block. He just can't believe. I have to see it for myself. I have to touch it for myself. I have to touch his wounds. In fact, what Thomas is doing is he is insisting that Jesus live out the promise that was given on that first Sunday morning. And if you were there in church this past Sunday, you heard it. Go on to Galilee, and I will meet you there. That's what we talked about on Sunday. What does it mean to go to Galilee? It means to get to work, following in the way of Jesus, reaching out to the broken-hearted and downtrodden, and serving with compassion and sharing God's love. What is Thomas doing in this moment but reaching out to touch the wounds of someone else? And in doing that, he expects for Jesus to meet him there. Now there's a really interesting note in this story that maybe you didn't pick up on. When Jesus first appears to the disciples on the night of Easter, they are behind locked doors because they're scared. We understand why they're scared, because their leader was crucified by Rome. They see Jesus, and a week later, they're still there. They're still locked in that room. They're still scared. They've heard the message. They've heard that they've seen that Jesus is risen, and yet they're still locked behind those doors, terrified. What Thomas offers isn't just something for the people who have questions and who seek and discern and wonder and doubt. He offers something for all of them. Because when he reaches out and touches the wounds of Christ, something is freed in all of them. And from there, they're able to go out and they're able to serve God and further the message and the ministry of Jesus. It's built into our baptismal covenant that the Thomas in us has an important place in the life of faith. We know the place in the life of faith that those who believe naturally and fully and completely without question, we know the place that they have. But there's a place for the doubters too. We pray, in fact, over the newly baptized that they will be blessed with an inquiring and discerning heart, with the courage to will and to persevere. And it's that ability to doubt, to question, to wonder, to delve more fully into the mystery of the world around us that contributes so much to our life of faith and to our life as human beings. It's a gift from God. It's a gift from God. Now you might be like that first woman that I talked about, and maybe faith comes really naturally to you, and you might be more like Mother Teresa or Thomas. You might have your questions and your doubts. You might be like Emily Dickinson, who was quoted as saying that she believed and disbelieved 100 times in a single hour, and that's what kept her faith nimble. All of those voices are part of our faith that we share together. All of those voices are necessary as we learn to listen to one another, and as we learn to more deeply and richly seek to know God and to love God. Amen.